And let's have a closer look at those front pages, starting with the Daily Mail, Paul.
Yes, the Daily Mail, Leo. So, excuse me, the King calls them terrorists. Why can't the BBC, says the Daily Mail. So, King Charles last night condemned the barbaric acts of terrorism, whilst his son, Prince William, also suggested that they were the horrors inflicted by Hamas terrorists. Yet the BBC, Leo, still continue to call them militants. To my money, that makes the BBC cowards, absolute cowards. Militants lead unions. Terrorists slaughter babies.
Yeah, I mean,
and I can't say any more than that.
It seems an open and shut case that they're terrorists. I mean, they're causing terror amongst the civilian population using the most despicable tactics, murdering children, and deliberately targeting children as well. It's not accidental deaths. I mean, why do you think the BBC is doing this? Why is it?
Well, I don't think the BBC is wrong. The BBC it's not that they're making a mistake. It's what side the BBC is on. The BBC is on the side is on Team World, and Team World supports the destruction of the State of Israel, and the Team World has to be in favour of.
But I mean, you talk about Team World. All the Western nations have come out in support of Israel and condemned the attacks and the invasion.
Yeah, that's because what it is there's like two currents running at the same time. State of Israel is the last ethno-state, one language, one people, one nation. And it was the last sort of breath of European colonialism. And it was founded by America in 1920s of the idea of every language, every people have their own state. And now they don't believe that. But so the vestigial belief system.
So now the belief in the West is that we should all be multicultural, everywhere should be a melting pot. Although we've seen that can backfire. We've had the differences in our cultures, within our borders, shown by conflicts between pro-Israeli protesters and pro-Palestinian protesters.
But you're always going to have... I mean, obviously, this is the most contentious issue of my life right now. And you know, you're arguing two different points, which is, maybe I brought the point up, which is multiculturalism. But the fact is the BBC is a tool of Team World. It's a tool of open borders. It's a tool of multiculturalism. It's a tool of you should not have a nation state. And Israel, even if Israel wasn't a Jewish state, the Arab population which surrounds Israel would want to get rid of the State of Israel. If it was all filled with English people or Germans or any other group of people, they would still be just as furious and just as angry.
Paul, do you agree with Lewis? Do you think it's the BBC is just a mouthpiece of the sort of woke ideology, the blob that runs everything and forces its ideology on us? Or because I mean, this is an ongoing thing. The BBC has repeatedly come out and said, you know, taken the side of the Palestinians and attacked Israel sometimes. I mean, just recently a BBC reporter said, you know, accused Israel of being happy to kill children, which is a very loaded phrase to use, an inflammatory phrase to use.
I think the BBC have got this incredibly wrong. There's no nuance to this. Well, you have to take this situation in isolation. I said this yesterday. You have to take the weekend's actions by Hamas, who are terrorists, in isolation for what it is at this time. Irrespective of the context, we have to... If that had been Israel, I would have done exactly the same thing. But the Palestinians, or Hamas, who are... Maybe we shouldn't... paint all the Palestinians with a Hamas brush. However, they are terrorists.
I mean, they did vote for them. They did
vote for them. But, you know, not everyone would call themselves a Tory in this country. But one thing I would say is the BBC have got it terribly, terribly wrong. And at some point, they're going to have to own up to that mistake.
Can I reiterate my thought? They haven't gotten it terribly wrong. This is what they actually believe. They actually believe that it doesn't matter what they do for the sake of...
So from their point of view, they've got it right, and we should all fall into line behind the BBC.
Yes.
Well, let's see if we will or we won't.